South Carolina local politics. Hello, and welcome to the My Father Said podcast, where we discuss all things faith, finance, and family. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan. I'm both a father and a son.
And I'm Travis Walthall. I am a father and a son. I just had a baby.
Yeah, you did. And as of this podcast, cheers. As of this podcast, how old is your daughter?
As of this podcast, she is 2 days old.
She is 2 days old, and your wife let you leave to go hours away.
That's right.
And hang out with an old college friend.
Leave, pushed out, get out of my space.
Semantics. That's good. That's good. For those of you that are joining for the first time, Travis has been on the podcast with us before. Travis is a mortgage loan originator.
I'm so proud of you.
That's right. Okay, good. He has been doing that for a while now. He is also a captain in the South Carolina National Guard. He told me I couldn't say captain, though, and that he is a chaplain.
That's right.
So he is a captain, chaplain, what have you, in the National Guard. And he is a candidate for North Charleston City Council District 3.
District 3.
District
Man,
3.
you are. Look at you, Johnny.
I didn't have any notes.
No, that's anything. This is off the dome. I'm proud of you.
Good. That's good. So what we brought Travis in today because we wanted to just ask questions about city council. Like, hey, this is local politics. Why does that matter? Does this affect finances? What does city council do? And so that's all this podcast is going to be about, is really just me asking questions selfishly because I want to know. So.
Well, and I won't pretend to have all the answers because any politicians that says that they do is probably just blowing smoke. Mm-hmm. But I will do my best to help you.
So let me ask you this. Everybody talks bad about politicians unless you're probably a politician. Do you now identify as a politician, or?
I think in some way we're all politicians.
Like a very politically correct answer, Scott.
In some capacity, form or fashion, everything about life that deals with networking or other people, whether it be ministry and church politics or work politics, there are politics in everything. So do I consider myself a politician? I am running for a seat that is a part-time seat. It is a nonpartisan city council seat. It is focused on your active community. So do I consider myself a politician? I mean, you would have to. It is a political arena, but it isn't a vocational arena. It isn't something that I will make a career out of. It is something that I see is a huge need, and I have both the ability and capability to fill that need. And I think that I would do a very good job in doing it.
That's good. That's good. I want to point something out. You said you're not going to make a career out of this. That's until you end up running for like governor or, what have you,
Man,
right?
you would be amazed at how many people that when I initially told them I planned on running, you would be amazed at the overwhelming amount of people that were like, man, this is always a stepping stone. This is a stepping stone to greater things, man. We're going to make you governor one day. And it's like, no, whoa. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch.
Yeah.
But I'm doing this because I love my community. And we're heartbroken over what has happened and why we're having this special election. And I truly do think that my community needs some healing, needs some hope. And I think that I'm well positioned to at least engage, put my name in the hat, give it my best shot, and if my constituents agree with me, get elected to lead the next phase of North Charleston's future.
If you don't mind, and I don't know what you can and cannot say, will you tell us a little bit about like what happened and why there's this election going on?
Oh, yeah. Now, if you're familiar with South Carolina, you are probably aware that our current political system has seen quite a few exposures and allegations, alleged corruptions, and maybe political misconducts.
Yeah.
Now, whether those are true or not, I'm not the judge, jury on those decisions. But what happened in North Charleston was there were 3 city council members. So there's 10 city council seats.
Okay.
There were 3 city council members who were indicted on federal charges of either they were complicit in or they were aware of. And they were brought up on bribery, wire fraud, extortion, embezzlement. So the gist of it is there were federal grants for charities, and the city council members, certain city council members, were working with several other individuals to go to these charities and say, hey, do you want some of this money? And the charities were like, well, yeah, we want some of this money.
Yeah.
And so they would be like, okay, well, give us a certain percentage of this. And
the thought behind that is like, give it to us or we'll go give it to a different charity.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. If you want a piece of this pie, you got to pay to play.
Golly.
And so it wasn't like it was costing the charities any money because they'd still net a certain amount. So they allegedly were complicit in this. Now, my specific council seat, the council member was just elected in this past election cycle, back in the end of 2024. So he just took office in January. We've only been in it for 2 months, and he was brought up on federal charges with everybody else.
Gosh.
Now, from what I saw, he pled guilty to knowing of, but he did not actively participate in. So we are now engaged in a special election. It is a 2-month election cycle that ran from the end of March, and the election day is May 27th. Okay. So we have a lot of work to do, a lot of ground to cover. And there are 7 people running for our district seat. That represents a little over 12,000 people in the city of North Charleston.
Nice. Good. So tell us this. What does city council do? Why do they exist? And what do they do?
Government overreach.
Yes.
So when you get a lot of people together, there has to be oversight. The city of North Charleston, the history behind the city of North Charleston is quite fascinating. And if you don't know about it, we won't go into details with that today, but how it's separated from Charleston. So it was initially one. Like Charleston and North Charleston were essentially one at one time, and they later separated. And so now we do have a municipality that is in the center of the low country. We are the dead, like if you want to go to Mount Pleasant, West Ashley, you got to cross North Charleston. If you want to get to downtown from Summerville, you have to go through North Charleston. So it is the heartbeat. It is the core center of the area. And what a city councilman does is mostly they represent their people, they represent their district, and they set policies on the local level. So like policies that assist in the administration of public services that the city provides. Zoning is a big part of what any city councilman does. So there are a lot of permitting and zoning laws. The city of North Charleston has the highest GDP in the state of South Carolina.
Oh, no kidding.
It does. And that's probably due in large part to Boeing and some other real major competitor, the airport.
Hey, but by and large for Boeing, before or after their planes started falling out of the sky?
That wasn't our plan.
That had nothing to do with the city of North Charleston. Nothing to do with District 3.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
So the city councilmen, they do play a vital role in representing the constituents of their districts and ensuring that those citizens are protected and guided. We do have a lot of gun violence in North Charleston as a whole. And what's interesting is the highest GDP in the state, or at least it was when I last looked, right? Highest GDP in the state, one of the poorest parts to live in the low country. So when it's sandwiched in between Summerville, West Ashley, Hanahan, Mount Pleasant, downtown Charleston, all of these wealthy cities where the citizens are recognized as citizens of means, by and large. There are pockets everywhere. But the reputation of North Charleston is one of poverty and crime. Is this a safe place? Now, how would I know that? Well, I'm a real estate professional.
Oh, yeah. Oh, duh.
And so, this is affecting property values. I had one gentleman tell me a couple weeks ago, he can't sell his house. His house stayed on the market for 80 days. And the price point is such that it's an attainable house. And the only real question of why couldn't you sell it is, Well, he had a bullet fly through his house.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
And that's why he wanted to leave, and he had to disclose that.
Oh, gosh.
So it's the area with the crime and other stuff, and city council has a role in monitoring and addressing crime.
Yeah.
Now it's a minor role. You know, the real people who do things are the boots on the ground, the police. But what North Charleston, the two major issues we're facing, image and morals. And they're hammering each other. It's that paradox where they're just compounding each other. It's kind of like when you have someone who is depressed, they will continue engaging in destructive behavior.
Yeah.
Because they're depressed, and it makes them more, think of like an alcoholic. They drink because they're sad, so they drink more because they're sad. Mm-hmm. And then it's this repetitive cycle. So we have an image problem and we have a moral problem. Our crime rates, just because it's recognized as poor doesn't mean crime.
Sure.
Like it shouldn't mean crime. There are fantastic people who are generous and kind. They just don't have a lot of money. That doesn't make them less than citizens.
Right.
So crime doesn't have to mean poverty, and poverty doesn't have to mean crime. But in North Charleston, we have this image of it. And I was talking to another fella last week, asked him where he was from. He said, I'm from this area. I went to that school, right? Points to the school just down the road. And he goes, he followed that statement up with, I went to that school, unfortunately.
Yep.
Whoa, man. Whoa. What made it so bad? Your life is nice. You live comfortably. Are you happy with the decisions? Well, yeah. Well, then why is that unfortunate? And it comes with perception. It comes with deception. A lot of people have been deceived into believing that what they have is not good, when in reality, they're living healthy lifestyles, and maybe some minor tweaks are needed. But then you have the other folks that actively engage in breaking and entering, car thefts, etc. And there's these outliers that ruin it for the entire city.
Right.
So how can the city council combat what I believe are the real issues facing every citizen, which are property values, the safety of their homes, the safety of their streets, the security to raise a family. One of the things that isn't really being talked about much by my other by the other folks running is they don't recognize. So one of the big criticisms that I have received is that I'm not from North Charleston.
Oh yeah, Seneca.
I'm an old country boy from Seneca, man. Like I was raised in the sticks.
Yeah,
kind of. Seneca today is not what Seneca was when I was growing up. Thankfully,
Thankfully, why would you say that? Don't you have a good life? Aren't you happy with
Absolutely, and that doesn't mean it can't be better. And we are always grateful for God guiding us to growth. Amen.
That's good. I like how you did that.
I loved my childhood, and I think that my childhood, as growing up extremely poor, has really given me the drive to be successful. So I know what it takes. I know what it takes in this generation to be successful. Not the generations from the 90s, not the generation from the early 2000s. I know what it takes today. And that isn't to speak ill of any of the other candidates. There are several that are very successful that I respect. But I do know what it takes to go from zero to at least middle class.
Yeah.
And have a healthy marriage and have a healthy family. I'm a mortgage loan originator, so I'm a financial professional. I'm a real estate professional. I'm an Army chaplain, which means I see people in their worst moments, when they are at their darkest, when they're literally at the end of the rope. And God has used me in this way to speak into their lives and guide them from maybe depression, hostility, aggression. Guide them toward truth and guide them toward hope. I think that's what I bring to the table with North Charleston. Do I understand policy better than everyone else? I don't. Some of those words are difficult to understand. It's like, have you ever read legalese?
No.
It's like it's written so that you don't understand it. But I can understand. I may not understand the first go around, but I will learn. But what I really bring is I know what it takes to nurture both a person and a society back to health. And what does health look like? So I think that that's what I can do with the city of North Charleston. I think that District 3 specifically is in great need of that. There's a sound there. 26 I-26 is right on my neighborhood, and everywhere in our district you can hear it. And there was a study done 4 years ago that, like a study done by the state, and the study was for noise pollution, and the study proved, yeah, you guys need a sound wall, but we never got one because politics.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was a long way to answer your question.
So no, that's good. You prompted a couple of questions from that. So one of them, you are a husband, you're a father of now two. You are a real estate professional, you're in the National Guard, and you're active in your church. Mm-hmm. If you were to add city council to your plate, how do you balance all of that?
Priorities.
Okay. And I know you're not in the city council yet. You will now. But what would, I don't know, do you have an idea on what that would look like, balancing that out?
If God sees fit to put me in that position, then I believe that his provision is perfect. Now, we are very blessed that both between my wife and my job, we are able to live a more freedom of movement lifestyle. We don't have to be quite so rigorous on daily schedules. My wife now works from home, so that does afford us to, like, hey, if I can't make it to go pick up our son from daycare, she can. She's also moving into a part-time capacity, so that just for for childcare purposes, she's moving more part-time. We're very blessed for that. Will I be able to keep up with both the mortgages, the military, and the politics of it, the city council? I think I absolutely can.
Nice.
It is a part-time position, but it does come with far more full-time responsibilities. It is paid.
Okay.
So I think it's about a little over $20,000 a year to do it. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think that I can do it.
Yeah.
I think that being a mortgage loan officer affords me, I don't have set hours in my day. So when I went to go meet these two men that I've already referenced, like I went and I met them because they wanted to talk to the candidates about their issues, I was able to just go in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
I'm not tied to a desk.
Right. Yeah.
And it didn't really hurt my business at all because my business is networking.
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah. That's good.
I think it's going to marry very well.
Yeah. That's good. You also said something earlier. It prompted another question. You were talking about like crime's an issue, or not necessarily crime's an issue, but like addressing it and making people feel safer and stuff like that. How big, if any, does city council play in the role of like funding first responders or like helping the police or the fire department? Like, do they play any role in that?
Yeah, they do. Consider city council to be the legislative branch to the mayor's executive branch.
Oh, okay. All right.
So when we're trying to pass policies on, let's say we wanted to raise the police officers' salaries because they rightly deserve it, city council has a role in approving that.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Okay. And then when you want to build that sound wall, that's got to go through city council as well.
For permitting and zoning.
Yeah, that's cool. All right. So do you think, in your opinion, do local politics affect somebody's finances?
Yes.
All right. How so?
Local politics affects it, at least in North Charleston, because the city has taxes on the properties. Right? It will also impact who receives what grants.
Okay.
We can't undersell the importance of permitting and zoning and city regulations. When people want to build, they've got to get all the permits. The permits go through the city. When a company wants to get a license to conduct business, you got to go through the city.
Right.
We just finished with the Azalea Flower Town Festival in Somerville. And then Mount Pleasant had the Bridge Run. These are two massive events that are always conjoined together, and they bring in a lot, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in tourism money, right? Millions of dollars every year. I think there was like 200 to 300,000 people that went to the festival alone.
Golly, man.
Like, that is a lot of people from out of town that have brought in a lot of money. North Charleston doesn't have anything like that. Why not?
Yeah.
So, does it affect the finances of everybody? Well, yeah, because if your police officers aren't paid enough,
You could go somewhere else.
they'll go some.
Yeah,
And if you're not able to fund your department, then crime increases because you don't have a police presence. Same with the fire department and any other public service, public works. It affects the roads. It affects the power line. Well, the power lines are really controlled by Dominion, but public works still has a hand in certain things with how the roads are structured and stuff. So it does affect. It affects everybody, but it absolutely affects your finances.
Yeah.
Because if you're not paying attention to taxes, well, then you're probably getting ripped off.
Yeah. I think, and don't quote me on this, I think it was a quote from Robert Kiyosaki, maybe. He was saying that the biggest expense any person ever has is their taxes. But you ask somebody what their biggest expense is, it's my phone bill, it's my car payment, it's my mortgage or whatever. And it's like,
No.
It's your taxes.
You currently, if you work in South Carolina and you work a middle class job, this is more your lane than mine. But as a loan officer, I see people's incomes all day long, and we have to base the income off the gross, right? But I see the net.
Oh, yeah.
You work 4 months of the year to pay the government. Now let's go increase your property taxes.
Yeah.
For what tangible benefit, I ask?
For the sound wall that isn't built yet.
Well, there is money. It's just you have to make, like we talked about it earlier, there were those grants, hundreds of thousands of dollars in grants given to charities to stop gun violence or to stop the homeless situation or, the different charities that we have out there. That money was funneled through city council to these charities. Now, if done properly, what a benefit, what a joy, what a blessing. When done corruptly, you cut out 5 or 20% of.
Oh my gosh!
Allegedly,
yeah, allegedly. Hey, did any of those people Was it just like, all right, hey, you can't do that, you plead guilty, and that's the end of it, or did people actually go to prison or anything like that?
I know that 2 of the 3 city council members who were indicted have pled guilty and resigned. One pled not guilty, and then the governor kind of stepped in and was like, well, you're not going to be a city council member anymore. So because he did not resign, there's no special election for his seat, but there are District 5 and District 3. We're having special elections. So, did that answer your question?
Yes. So that they were found guilty or whatnot, but is anybody going to serve any time, or is it just like you lose your position, maybe you've got a fine?
They've pled guilty. I don't know if they've been found guilty.
Okay.
So I think that's why we continue to say allegedly.
Allegedly. Okay.
Because I don't think that a jury has set on anybody yet.
Okay. That makes sense.
I could be wrong, but I don't think they have.
This is just very good political answers, right? Politically correct. That's good.
It's not. It's just honest.
What have you? Okay.
Oh wait, politician. Never trust a politician that says I'll be honest, right?
I had another question, and I don't know where it went.
See, you used to live in District 3.
I remember that. In fact, I used to 5-minute walk from one of the places you lived.
So less than 5 minutes.
Speaking of
3
that,
doors down.
how many? I don't know if you answered this question while you and I were talking, or if it was on the podcast. How many places have you lived in North Charleston?
When I last counted in North Charleston, I think it was 5.
Golly, yeah. See,
and I think of those places, 4 are in the district.
Okay.
One is CSU, and CSU is right on the border of the district, and I think that it was rezoned a while back. I don't think that's in the district anymore.
That's why I wore the shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah, go Bucks.
I'm wearing a Charleston Southern shirt. We both went there, and so I figured
Bucks.
you'd get a kick out of that. So good. All right, so I asked you, do you think local politics affects your finances? And I think you answered that question great. Now, and this might be the same answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Why does it matter? Why does it matter for people to participate in local elections? Why does it matter for the people who aren't participating to go vote? Like, why, aside from finance, why does that matter to me to get involved in any of this?
Local politics affect your life more than any other form of politics, more than any other election. Your active lifestyle is affected by who your city council rep is, who your mayor is, who your county council member is, more than any other seat.
All right, so let me make sure I got that right. So you're telling me that local politics, your city council, your mayor, what have you, plays more of a role in your day-to-day life than the president of the United States who's sitting in like Congress in the Senate.
100%.
That's cool. All right. I've never heard somebody actually say that. That's good. I believe you, but that's cool.
'Cause what affects you more? What affects you more? The street you live on and how it's, what condition it's in, the police force that patrols your area, or 25% foreign tariff policy. What affects your life more?
Street. Yep. My street, my police. Yep. So there you go.
Right? When you call 911, who do you want to show up? The Secret Service or your local municipality?
Yeah, that's good. No, that's good. I don't think I've ever heard somebody say that. Because I mean, and this is just, blame everything on the media. Like, you only ever hear about the president, the vice presidents, Congress. Like, that's all you hear about. You don't hear anything about little old South Carolina and local politics, but it makes perfect sense. Yeah, it's like,
Who controls the recreation centers?
it's the city, right? Yeah.
Sometimes it's the city, sometimes it's the county.
Okay.
Right? It really depends on what city and where. The park that's in my neighborhood, owned by the city. So the state in which that park operates is a city expense, which means my taxes pay for the upkeep of that park, right? Where my kids play, and where you can find syringes and needles on the ground in the parking lot. Right? Now that's to say I have found, you'll find that in any park, guys. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't mean poor or crime or no, it's parks attract people who want to shoot up. That's a thing. It won't go away. But
That's a depressing thing. It just happens.
it's a thing, man. But with more police presence, it doesn't have to be as often. And when you really focus in on the morality and the welfare of the people, not just giving programs that put a Band-Aid on the symptoms,
Yeah.
but when you actually address the issue of sin and the issue of faith, we live in a society that is bankrupt by faith. Like, people are depressed. People are struggling with mental crises. That is not a word. Mental crises?
Is today.
Okay. They're struggling with those things in record numbers. I think part of that is an exposure to these things. We're more exposed and aware of the mental crisis. But another part of it is that the traditional structures where people have often ran when experiencing crisis are no longer societal norms, especially for the large number of transplants to the area. Remember I told you my biggest criticism is that I'm not from there.
Yeah.
Well, neither are more than half of the people who live there.
Yeah.
They didn't grow up in North Charleston.
Thanks, Ohio, right?
To all you Yankees.
Unless you vote in District 3, then he's not talking to you. Oh, good. Well, cool. Well, man, I think those are the only questions I selfishly had. Is there anything that you think would be pertinent to share with people, or any questions I should have asked that I didn't ask?
Absolutely. Funding.
Yes.
Funding.
Yes.
So I if it's one thing that I need, and so it may just be my ask of, you listeners, please go to traviswalthall.com and donate. I believe that of the 7 members running, I'm the only conservatively minded person. We are a predominantly liberal base, but I love where I live, and I believe in helping people. Not helping people as the government usually does.
Yeah.
But actually seeing the positive net end result, not just the Band-Aids that treat symptoms.
Perfect.
So I could use some funding help.
Yeah. Okay. And that was really easy. That was traviswalthall.com. And I'll get with Scott and we can actually put that in the link. But yeah, so if you guys want to do that, please do. You know, Travis would thank you very much if you do that. That'll be a big benefit, and we'll put all that link in there if you want to. But with that, this has been another episode of the My Father Said podcast. I'm Ryan.
And I'm Travis.
And we will see you guys next time.
The opinions voiced in this video are for general information only and are not specific advice or recommendations for any individual. All performance reference is historical and is no guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful.